A very good morning to one and all. I welcome you all to the virtual talk on corporate etiquettes. I extend a warm welcome to our beloved principal, Dr. Raghavendra A, Mr. S. Durai Babu, research person of today's virtual seminar, Dr. H.V. Somyaji, coordinator of PG Department of Commerce, faculty members, and delegates. Today we have among us Mr. S. Durai Babu, who will be sharing his thoughts on corporate etiquettes. Mr. S. Durai Babu has 17 plus years of extensive experience in large business houses and diverse industries like engineering, abrasives, and information technology. His expertise in learning and competence development, performance management, talent reviews, HR business partnering, employee engagement, organizational development, mentoring, employee induction, and training delivery. His career highlights includes designed and executed strategic leadership program in partnership with GLIM. He implemented Kirkpatrick's training impact model. He set up development center in Cone, India. And he also implemented performance management and learning management system. He worked as a trainee in HR department in Carborundum Universal Limited for 1 year, 1 month, and as a deputy manager of HR department in HCL for 7 years, 9 months. And he worked as a manager in HR department for 3 years, 2 months, and as a senior manager in competence development for 2 years, 10 months. And also he worked as a senior manager in learning and development for 3 years in Chennai. Presently, he is working as a senior manager of learning and development in Cone Elevator, India. Sir is awarded with Genius HR Excellence Award 2019 for Best Training Initiative and APA Learning Award for Best Sales and Customer Course, Extra Miller Award 2016, and Most Collaborative HR Person in 2014. With this brief introduction, I extend a warm welcome to Mr. S. Durai Babu and kindly request him to take over the session.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful introduction. A very good morning to one and all, to each one of you. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to ICT Academy, Vishnu Prasad, and I would also like to thank Dr. Raghavendra, principal of this college, Dr. Soumya, and also Pooja Shetty, ma'am, for this wonderful introduction already. So thank you all so much, and all the students who are here today to listen to me for the next 45 to 50 minutes or so. Thank you so much for making time and being here to listen to me. Great. So then I've got a couple of slides to share. So what I will do, let me switch off my video and then start presenting my slides, and then start sharing my whatever I have to share with this students group. Right?
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, yes.
I request our principal to address the delegates.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Good morning, everyone. Today's resource person, Sri Durai Babu, officials of ICT Academy, the organizing unit, my colleagues, dear students. So today we have the topic corporate culture and corporate ethics. So this particular topic is very much relevant, mainly in view of the various languages in India and various culture existing in India. So when you enter a corporate sector after your academic career, you will have to work with people coming from different areas. So many a time you feel isolated. So this is a very great setback if you feel isolated in the company. Though you are capable of doing anything, okay, you have been selected according to your caliber, your capacity. There is every possibility that since you cannot collaborate with the different culture existing there, so you may withdraw from the situation. So this is what we have seen in our experience. Students getting job, work for about a year and leave the job just because they are not able to cope with the culture existing there. It is inevitable that a corporate sector will have its own culture. You have to adjust with that. So what are the things you need to develop and you need to know? So this is only introductory session so that you must make up your mind. You should be ready to accept the things. Nothing to learn now as such. But once you enter, you should be ready to accept. Okay? There will be training even after serving for 10 years. You will have to undergo training. So you cannot say, I am experienced, who is there to train me like that. So the culture, corporate culture and the etiquettes, what you have to follow there are totally different. You may not be aware of it. And these things also vary time to time. It is all mindset where you can succeed these difficulties. So to make up this mindset, awareness is the most important thing. Okay? Working in a different culture, which is totally different from what you are living in, is really challenging, and that should not hinder your growth there in the company. So, in this respect, we want our students to get trained so that when they face the interview, the placement officers should feel that these students are capable of adopting. This is the intention of the program. They should feel that this candidate is capable of adopting. This, with this idea, we have this program arranged for you. See, in our college this year we have started a certificate course, very ambitious. Our postgraduate department is efficiently organizing. They are dealing with all these type of issues in this certificate course, and we have restricted only 35 members so that these 35 members will be well trained. But today's talk, they are extending it to others also. Therefore, in future, you can join the certificate course. So with this few words, I hand over the session to ICT Academy, and I would like to thank ICT Academy for giving us this program. And also, I would like to welcome today's resource person from Poornaprajna College on behalf of management of Poornaprajna College on my own behalf. And also, I would like to thank for giving us this session. Thank you, sir, and wish you all the best, all the students. Take advantage of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. S. Durai Babu, sir, to take over the session.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Raghavendra, sir, for this wonderful context setting. So mostly you have covered all the important points that I thought I will also share with the students today. like collaboration, mindset, people from different walks of life, different background, so that so that is what I also have as part of my slides. But thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful context setting and introduction already. Thank you. Of course, yeah, thank you to all of you, all ICT Academy and all that, everybody. So let me switch off my video now, and I'll start sharing the presentation slide deck that I have. All right, ma'am, is this first slide visible?
Yes, sir.
All right. So very warm welcome and a very good morning to each one of you out there. For having made time for this session. So mine is going to be a short session. This is not a full-fledged training. So I'm only going to give you an overview or outline about what are those skills that are important to be able to be successful in a corporate world. So when you join a job, what are the skills that are really required? And many of you might be knowing it already, but then reiteration is always good. What we know, we have to make it a habit. So habit is always good. So keep telling us that this is good all the time is going to help us. So if you know it already, then this is just a reiteration. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with what is the kind of world that we are living in today. As you all would be knowing, we are living in a world, called as or symbolized with the word called technological disruption. Now technology is everywhere. It is taking over the world. World has already gone digital, and as youngsters, you already know it. And some of the technologies you're already masters of. For example, using your smartphones and mobile phones and all that, right? So robotics, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, mobile technologies, self-driving cars, cloud computing, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, automation. Now, this is the kind of buzzword that is going around today in the industry. And this is shaping up the world. And in the near future, it is going to be so. Now, we already are hearing news about doctors, performing remote surgeries on patients who are like 400 miles away. Recently, I read an article, I think someplace in UK, a doctor, did a surgery on a patient who was like 400 miles, I think 400 miles far away, using robots and all that stuff. So, and the food packets are being delivered by drones, right? So then if you want to attend a meeting in some other part of the world, you can send your hologram. Sometime back, Australian Prime Minister said, I would love to have Modi, our Prime Minister Modi, attending our meeting through his hologram, right? So that is the kind of world that we are living in. And in the future, it's going to be like humans, robots, and gadgets, and all of these things. So we need to have the capability and competence to be able to, survive in this technology, and also succeed in this kind of a digital world. So I'm sure you guys are already, technically savvy, technologically savvy. So I'm not a very technology guy. I'm an HR person. So I'm just setting the context. So we are living in a digital world already. All right. So now there is also another thing which is going around for so many years, and much more these days, which is called UCA. Now, this word was discovered like at least 3 decades ago, which was primarily used in the American military. UCA, basically V stands for volatility, U for uncertainty, C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. Now, when the armed forces are there going in an operation in some other place in a battlefield, right? So now the situation in which the armed forces are there, going there, that situation is basically volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So that is what it means. Though the armed forces, especially from the US, no, India is no less, especially no less in terms of the capabilities. So we can, even if we can take the Indian context also, let's say if our armed forces are there in Kargil or now in the Chinese border, right? So we never know what's going to happen. Though we have the technology, we have the skills, we have the competence, but then we really don't know what is going to happen in a battlefield. From where the bomb is going to come, all that, right? So situation is very unstable, and things are very uncertain. You're not able to surely predict what is going to happen next. And it is also a very complex environment. A lot of interconnections are involved, and a lot of doubts also go around, right? So that is the origin of the word UCA. Today, if we take one classic example, is this Corona situation, right? In December, in a wet market in Wuhan. So there was a virus which came known to the world, and it slowly started spreading in Wuhan. So now all of us in India, we all read about it, and we just went ahead with our own lives, as usual, business as usual. So now we had people visiting the temples. We had traffic jams in our roads, and we had bustling activities in the marketplaces. Right, our children's, small kids and children, they were playing in the parks. The elderly people were going walking, in the parks and also in the neighborhoods. Right, so things were very usual and normal in India. Now, by the time it was February, this virus from Wuhan, it went to Europe, then it went to the US, right? And by the time we could imagine or grasp a hold of the situation, it spread all over the world, and India as a country was forced into a lockdown, right? So now the speed of change was so enormous that we had to, overnight, we had to go on a lockdown. The schools were shut, offices were shut, markets were shut, right? So our working rhythm had to change upside down. So things became totally unstable, totally unpredictable, overly complex, and also a lot of doubts, right? So when this virus is going to go away from the world, it's not certain. Nobody is able to predict. When the vaccine is going to come, nobody is able to predict. Like somebody said, it is going to come in August, then September, November, next 6 months, and in the first quarter next year, right? Then the research is happening all over the world. So then finding a vaccine, the methodology, the several tests, trials, it's so very complex, right? And also a lot of doubts going around whether, what can I go to office, can I go there, right? So, and if you take students' exams, is the exams going to happen in the Corona situation? When the schools are going to open? Now, somebody says it's going to open, some says it's not going to open, and somebody puts a case in the court, right? So it's a very doubtful and chaotic situation. So that is the world that we are living in today, right? And that calls for a super competent individual to sail through these difficulties, face these challenges, overcome these bottlenecks, and go ahead and go further. So that is the context, and that is the kind of serious environment that we are living in. But that's okay. We only have to equip ourselves with the required skills, so that we are able to sail through these difficulties, navigate through these tougher times so easily. and comfortably, right? So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? So you should be knowing already about it. So when it comes to campus versus corporate, so I'm not strictly going to be sticking to campus to corporate kind of a thing, but I'm just going to share what are those things required in the corporate. Yeah, so basically corporate things are totally different. The world is totally different. So you got to be versatile. You got to be a better team player, right? So you have to have resilience. You have to learn every day, right? So all of that I'm going to be sharing with you in the later slides. This is just for you to read quickly. All right. So some time back, there was a research done by some foreign research agency, and they researched all the CEOs, many of the successful CEOs across the globe. And end of the research, they found out why they were all successful. And there was one striking quality which was very common across these CEOs, right? So now what is that? And all of these CEOs, they thought all the time that there is something more that they have to learn. They were thinking all the time that there is something I lack. I have to learn more, right? Or there is something I have to learn, that thing I don't know, but I have to learn it, and I'm going to learn it. That thing I have not achieved, I'm going to achieve it. I will put all my efforts to achieve it, right? Now, this quality was found in all of these successful CEOs. It was quite common, and all these CEOs are already top guys. They are CEOs already, but still they thought that there is something they lack, and they are working on it, and they want to overcome it, and they want to learn it, right? So that is the kind of mindset that each one of us have to have and build, right? So that is called growth mindset, meaning if I'm not a great public speaker, but I want to be a great public speaker. I am going to make all my efforts so that one day I become a great public speaker, right? So now that is the mindset one needs to adapt. Now, I'm not at all good in coding. I don't know how to write a code, but I am going to learn, and I'm going to master the art of writing code. I'm going to master the art of making presentation, right? So that is the kind of mindset we need to have. That is called growth mindset. Yeah. So let's develop growth mindset, meaning we need to learn every day. We need to understand that what we have, whatever skills that we have today is not enough. We need to learn more. We need to develop ourselves more, and we need to be determined, and we need to have the conviction to keep on improving ourselves, to keep raising the bar, right? Like Dr. Raghavendra, he mentioned already that even after 10 years of experience, it does not mean that you don't need any training. You still need, in fact, you need more training than you are a student after 10 years of experience, right? So now that is growth mindset. I'm going to do it. I'm going to achieve it. I will learn it. I will make all my efforts, right? Now, fixed mindset on the contrary is fixed mindset. Okay, I don't know driving a car. That's okay. I won't learn it. I will adjust with it. I will take the bus. That is fixed mindset. I don't know something. Okay, I don't know something. I'm not going to do anything about it. That is fixed mindset. I don't know something, but I'm definitely going to learn it. I'm going to master it, I'm going to overcome it. That is growth mindset. So that is important for each one of us, for you and me, right? So let's adopt growth mindset, and that's going to get you success uh, anywhere in the corporate world, or wherever you are. And let's also look at some of the skills that are required to be really successful in the corporate world, in the business world, or also in general, right? The first one, um, dress up well. Yeah, so uh, of course, now be the best dressed for the occasion. So if you're going for a business meeting, be best dressed, paka in formals for that business meeting. And if you're on a casual outing, be best dressed for that casual outing, right? So like if you're in a marriage, you be best dressed for the marriage. If you're in a party, you be best dressed for the party. And if you're in a meeting, you be best dressed for the meeting, whatever is required for the meeting. Likewise, when you're going to go to the office, be best dressed for the office. Formals, if that is what um, the corporate is asking for, then dress up that way. And research says that people who are always well dressed and best dressed in the office, they have more better chances to grow up faster in the organization. So that's what a research says. So let's be best dressed in the office, and that is going to win you a lot of good first impression. Speak up, right? So you got to speak up in the meetings, formal gatherings, informal gatherings. If there is a cafeteria meeting, you have to speak up, share your opinion. If there is an official meeting happening, if there is a team meeting happening, you got to speak up. So you got an opinion, you got to speak up, right? Then let me also come to this opinion. So you need to have an opinion about anything in this, uh, about the subject, about the project, and about anything under the sun. Right? So please read widely, so that you can have your own opinion about anything. Yeah. So if you are in a group discussion, for example, giving some campus interviews are happening, companies they're coming in GD, how unique is a student's opinion is what is being looked at, right? Now, how unique and how new and how different is this student's opinion is actually uh, that catches the attention of the interviewers, right? So now whatever others say, that's fine, but then you do your own research, read widely, talk to people, listen to people, and you have your own opinion about anything under the sun, and that's going to be really important for you. So then once you have an opinion, speak up. So do not hesitate, speak up. Then other important thing is listen up. So listening is an important skill. So you got to listen genuinely. Of course, in college to your teachers, at house to your parents, and at office to your bosses, to your colleagues, whomever that you're talking to or striking a conversation with. Please make sure that you talk less and you are listening more. And while you're listening to the other person, show them that you really care about them. You really care about what they're saying, and you're really listening to what they're saying. With a nod, with an eye contact, now with some questions, right? With you can also paraphrase what they're saying. So listening is important. So please gain the ability to really listen. And while you're listening to your friend about his past memory, your friendship is going to get better. So while you're listening to your manager, then your understanding about what job he's going giving you is going to get better, right? So listening is an important skill. So please listen. Body language is another important thing. Now, while you're speaking, while you're addressing a gathering, while you're walking, while you're talking, so be mindful about your body language and let the body language give the impression to others that you are an assertive, confident individual, right? So watch your body language also. So if you're sitting, sit straight. If you're walking, walk straight with your chin up and all that. So don't, I mean, you can just Google and find out more about body language. If you're shaking hands, let it be a firm, confident handshake, right? So body language is important. So give some attention to body language. That's going to be of great help. Then a job, a to-do list is important. So every day, review the to-do list and just go by the list with the deadlines. And then once you finish the task, you check the task and then you plan for the next day. Then the other day morning, when you come to the office, pull out the to-do list, review it, and add if there is new tasks that are coming, right? So make it a habit that you go by your to-do list and you have the habit of first making the to-do list and also a habit of checking the to-do list every day in the morning, right? So that's going to be really important. Got to be deadline driven, and every task needs to have a deadline. It will definitely have a deadline, and you have to make sure that the task is completed before the deadline or by the deadline. So that is going to be important, not just the first time or the second time, all the time, right? So be time driven, deadline driven, have time consciousness. So that's going to be really important. And of course, wear a smile. So just come across to others as a very pleasant individual. Always wear a smile. That's going to be really helpful and make you an approachable individual. So people can easily approach you. They can come forward and talk to you because that gives a good impression about you. So now dressing up well, speaking up, listening up, good body language, wearing a smile. Now these are all things that's going to really help you and make it a habit. All right. Then let's come to the other things. Uh, you might have heard of Indra Nooyi. Now, Indra Nooyi was from Chennai, and now she was the CEO of PepsiCo Holdings in the US. I think for about a decade or over a decade, I'm not sure, but she was the CEO. And recently, a few years ago, uh, she stepped down as the CEO of PepsiCo. And afterwards, she gave an interview, and in that interview, the interviewer asked Indra Nooyi, uh, "Ma'am, just tell us what do you think is one quality that has made you a successful businesswoman?" For which Indra Nooyi says that I learn every day. I have been a self-driven, lifelong learner, and I think that has given me success. I've been a lifelong learner. That has made me successful a businesswoman, right? So that is what Indra Nooyi said, the CEO of PepsiCo, when she after she retired in one of her interviews in the US, right? So learn every day. Now learning must become an habit. Now, because after you join a job, then you want to finish the task, and then you're tired after the task, and you want to rest. You don't find time to learn. So it is very important to make up time to learn every day. So plan daily time in your schedules, in your calendars, so that you force yourself to learn something new every day regarding your job and also in the other areas of the job, right? So learning is important. So let's be self-driven, lifelong learners. That is important to be really successful in a corporate job. Also, you know, and collaborate. Collaboration, like Dr. Raghavendra sir already mentioned about collaboration. So collaboration is important. So that is, now we cannot have prejudgments, prefixed opinions, and also we cannot shy also, right? So collaborating with colleagues within the team, collaborating with colleagues across the team seamlessly, without any hesitations, shy, or assumption, is going to be really important to be very successful, because every job, every task is going to be a team job. And the teamwork is very important. So if you have to be a great team player, you have to collaborate, right? And no matter what, no matter how difficult the other team member is, we have to collaborate. That is important. So building the ability to work with everyone is really important. So, and now after this COVID situation, there is one more thing that has got added to collaboration. Now, collaboration itself is one of the important skills and one of the toughest things in the corporate world. People find it difficult to collaborate, really. They usually confine to their own groups and teams and with people they are comfortable with. But collaborating with difficult people across regions, irrespective of the backgrounds that they come from, is important. And now in this world, it's become a virtual world already. So now we need to collaborate virtually, right? So that is important. So learn to collaborate. And of course, like again Dr. Raghavendra said, it's all about the mindset. When you have the right mindset, growth mindset, then naturally collaboration comes. Other important thing is change potential. Now change is so fast and quick. Again, we need to tell ourselves that change is the only constant, and I have to equip myself, adapt to changing circumstances quickly without wasting time, so that I move forward, right? So now if when everybody are changing, when everybody are running on a track, right? And if you stop running, you will get run over. That is what is going to happen. So like if you take in the corporate world, we have examples like Nokia, which said, no, I don't want to make a smartphone, or for some reason they said, no, we don't want to change. But Nokia, see, it's been already eaten up by the Apples and Samsung, and now the OnePlus and Oppo, right? It's in the smartphone market. So Nokia is not at all there; it's gone. And in erstwhile there was a corporate phone, BlackBerry. In the corporate world, everybody had a BlackBerry phone. It was like the Apple iPhone of today. If you have a BlackBerry phone, then it's kind of a status symbol. Now that BlackBerry company is shut, it's not at all there, because smartphone, they said no, people will still buy our own, QWERTY keyboard BlackBerry phones. But now things have changed, right? So we also have to change with the changing times, for which we need to have the change potential, right? So what is the change potential? Now it starts off with the mindset. First of all, I have to believe that I have to change with the changing times, right? The next thing is acquire those new skills. I have to put my efforts to get those new skills so that I can change quickly, adapt, go forward. Yeah, so that is important. In communicating effectively, I spoke about this speaking up. Now, there, the most important aspect is to have an opinion for yourself, one. And once you have an opinion, you have to speak up. Now, when there are meetings happening, you have to speak up, share your thoughts, share what you're thinking, share your opinions, right? And uh, medium. So now one of the mediums that is really catching up in the corporate world, a medium for communication, is storytelling medium, right? So now build your communication into stories and say, and that is going to get you, the that's going to make your communication really effective. Yeah. So I'm just leaving these thoughts with you. You can go Google and find out more information about these things. So make your communication more effective by using the borrowing elements of storytelling, making it more interesting to the other person, because now the attention span is really less and people are not willing to listen to long lectures. So in a shorter span of time, how do I the message I have, and let me use the storytelling elements, make it more interesting. Yeah. So that is really important. So communicating effectively is important. Now communication in the first place, and second place, it has to be effective, meaning what I have to say, that should be understood by the other person. Yeah. So communicate effectively. So you may want to explore this storytelling technique. A lot of trainings are being given already, so please make use of it. And traditionally, culturally, Indians are good at storytelling. So then our parents, our grandparents, they all told a lot of stories to us when you were a children, when I was children, right? So that storytelling is there in our genes already. We only need to just be conscious about it and tap the potential, right? But for the Western world, it is something new. I don't know, maybe it is something new, but for Indians, it should come naturally. And the other thing that is happening in the corporate world is it is becoming more kind of a matrix environment, meaning one person uh, um, made accountable for different things, or reporting to different bosses or stakeholders, right? For example, um, if there is an L&D manager or an HR manager in India, then he will have a direct boss in India. Then he will have another boss in Finland. Then he will have different business stakeholders that he needs to provide services for, right? So then one person needs to report to different individuals and work with different many stakeholders, provide services to many stakeholders, and all these stakeholders, they sit in different locations. Somebody is in Chennai, someone in Singapore, someone in Helsinki, and someone in Australia, someplace in Australia, right? So that is the kind of uh, environment that is prevailing today in corporates. And so when you join the job, it's going to be so. If you're joining a multinational organization, I think most likely you will work in a matrix environment. So we need to equip ourselves to work with the matrix environment also. Then collaboration, communication, right? So all of these things are interlinked. Now these things are going to make you effective to work and handle different stakeholders and be successful in a matrix environment, right? So listening carefully, communicating effectively, collaborating seamlessly, all these are going to be helping you in a matrix environment. Having a to-do list, being time driven. Yeah. So I'm just sharing this so that you are aware of these changes. If you're already aware, well and good. But maybe if there is someone who doesn't know, then diversity. Yeah, so diversity is really catching up very fast um, in the organization. So appreciating differences is going to be important, right? So now, like I said, this is interlinked with collaboration. Now, if I think that, okay, now that person is from that background, I won't talk to him. Or if there is some kind of a ice built, then collaboration becomes difficult, right? So we need to learn to appreciate differences. Now, people speak different languages. They are from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. Now, they dress differently, right? So all these things we need to understand and appreciate. So collaboration is very seamless. So appreciating diversity now, it is geographic diversity, and it is also gender diversity, right? So male, female, now also the other communities, the third gender, LGBT, and all that. So that is where the world is actually heading, right? So we need to appreciate differences, and that's only going to make us really successful. We need to be liked by everybody. That's going to really help. And in the organization, you will be forced to work with people from different backgrounds, different places, who speak different languages, who have different religious beliefs, and they will all be put together in one team or in one office, right? So you cannot avoid. So let's appreciate differences. Resilience, again, I said this again, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Resilience is the, the determination, telling ourselves that I'm going to hang on, telling ourselves that I'm not giving up, and telling ourselves that I'm definitely going to win. It is very hard, it is very tough, it is very challenging, and a lot of people are against this, but that's okay. I will keep pushing, I'll keep going until I touch the destination, right? So now that is resilience. Never give up, get going, keep pushing until you reach whatever you want to reach, right? So that is uh, also now resilience also is becoming one of the skill and competence. So build resilience. What you can do to build resilience? Maybe we can start with yoga, meditation, right? Some add some spiritual quotient, emotional quotient. So now that is going to really help in building resilience. Now that is according to me, right? So you must be trying it already. Start. Now be more analytical, be more facts based, be more data driven, right? So if there is a task given to you, or if you're working on a project, then while approaching a project, while you have to make some uh, decisions, or if you want to understand things better, uh, make it facts based. Don't go by simply go by assumptions. Make it data driven, right? So become more analytical. So you can learn. There are several tools you can learn, like the Six Sigma and all that. Accountability. Now, taking ownership of our own productivity is important. Now, especially this in the context of virtual working. Tomorrow, if you want to join an IT company, now most of the IT companies are going on the virtual mode, work from home mode. So you're working from home, really there is nobody watching over you, right? So accountability is important now, whether it is work from home or otherwise also. Taking ownership for ourselves, our job, our productivity is really important. If I'm here in this job, I'm getting paid, I have these responsibilities. Now, even if nobody is supervising me, even there is nobody to tell me what to do, not to do, I have my goals and responsibilities in front of me. So let me take ownership, go ahead and do it, right? So that is really important. Being self-driven, taking ownership, being more responsible, and getting things done even without any supervision. That is really important. So a company is hiring you to solve their problems, as simple as that, right? So solve problems for your manager, solve problems for your teammates, colleagues, for your family members, for your friends, for your relatives, right? So now be that person. Okay, go to Ramesh, he'll solve your problems. Meaning not in a very right solving for example, if your manager is struggling with a pivot table, or he wants to put some graphs and pivots and do some PowerPoint presentation, he really doesn't know how to work in the Excel, then just go. That is a problem for him, right? Just go, extend your support and get those things done. Okay, manager, it comes naturally because but then if it is a colleague in some other team who's struggling uh, with an Excel, then you can just volunteer, solve that problem for them, right? So it can be simple things uh, that you can really do to your manager, to your team members, and complete all the tasks on time. So be that problem solver. That's going to really help you. Yeah. So solve problems for anybody, for your friends, for your parents, for your siblings. Yeah. So that's really going to be important. Showing results, it doesn't matter how much effort that you put, you have to show results. Yeah, so if you're a sales guy and if you're given a target to sell 10 vacuum cleaners, you have to sell 10 vacuum cleaners. You can't say I visited 100 houses, only I could sell only 9. No, that's not going to work. Show results, be more smart. Of course, work hard, a little bit smartly, and show results. Now we need to build a drive and persistence, right? So now when we keep going on and on, somewhere in between we might lose all the steam. We might get bored. We might feel tired. We might want to stop. No, no matter what happens, you got to have the drive and persistence to to go forward and show results, right? You know, something which is, if you are resilient, then you're going to walk that distance and show results. Yeah. So we all know this Boost energy drink, right? Now Boost, it's a good drink only, uh, but it needs a Virat Kohli, it needs a Sachin Tendulkar to promote it, right? So as ambassadors, as brand ambassadors. Now Hyundai is a pretty decent car, but you need a Shah Rukh Khan to be a brand ambassador for Hyundai. Yeah. So likewise, each one of us, you and me, all of us need goodwill ambassadors. You know, people who can speak for us now when we are not there. Now, yeah. So people saying, okay, this guy, go approach him. He's going to solve your problems. Give him that task. He'll definitely show results. Oh, that fellow, he's an accountable guy. He's a good guy. Let him promote him, right? So let's win over as many goodwill ambassadors as much. You know, people that can speak for us, behind us, good things. You know, speak good things behind us. All right, so I think time now is 12:32. I'll just quickly wind up. So take feedback, ask for feedback, share feedback. Just don't hesitate or don't be shy or egoistic to ask feedback. Feedback is one of the important mechanisms to grow and improve, especially in the job context. So if you've done something, just go ask your manager, have I done it rightly? Go ask your team members, is this the way it has to be done? What do you think about this? Or just ask, what do you think about my English language command? What do you think about my presentation skills? What do you think about my coding skills? What do you think about my subject knowledge? Where do you think I should improve? Right? So constantly ask for feedback, and feedback is going to really help you grow, and take the feedback seriously. Don't think that I know everything, I don't have to ask feedback. No, that's not going to help. Get yourself mentors now only get yourself a good mentors, right? So now all of these people, Bill Gates. Bill Gates was once the richest man in the world, and he had a mentor by name Warren Buffett. Maya Angelou was mentor for Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, you must be knowing, she's a super celebrity host in the US, already a top star, but she had a mentor. Likewise, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Larry Page, all the top guys, they all had been mentored. They all had mentors, right? So all the top guys have mentors. All the CEOs have mentors. So you and me, we must have mentors. So catch hold of somebody really good, really experienced, somebody who wants to share their experience with the youngsters. Just ask them, sir, please be my mentor. Madam, please be my mentor, right? So get yourself a good mentor. All right. So then, uh, I thought I will end with a story. Now, in Mahabharata, now Dronacharya was teaching archery to the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So once he had called all of them for a lesson and a test, right? So in the forest, they all assembled. Dronacharya, he came there with a wooden bird, a bird made of wood. So it had the beaks, the legs, it had the feathers. So he found one of the tallest trees, and he placed that wooden bird on top of the tree. And then he called his disciples one by one. First, he called Yudhishthira. Hi, Yudhishthira, you come on, pick up your bow and the arrow. Yudhishthira, he picked up his bow and the arrow. And Dronacharya said, come on, you take aim at the wooden bird. And Yudhishthira took aim at the wooden bird. And Dronacharya asks him, what do you see, Yudhishthira? He says, I can see the blue sky. You can see the blue sky? Okay, take your shot. Yudhishthira takes his shot, and the arrow misses the bird. Then next he calls Ashutama. Hey, come on, Ashutama, can you take aim at the bird? Then Ashutama takes aim at the bird, and Dronacharya asks the same question. Now, tell me, Ashutama, what do you see? He says, I can see the leaves and the branches. And he said, okay, take your shot. Now, Ashutama takes the shot, and the arrow misses the wooden bird. And now then, finally he calls Arjuna. Come on, Arjuna, you pick up your bow and the arrow. Arjuna picks up the bow and the arrow. And Dronacharya tells him, come on, take aim at the bird, the wooden bird. Arjuna takes aim at the wooden bird. And Dronacharya asks him, what do you see, Arjuna? And he says, I see the eye. I can see the eye of the bird. What else do you see, Arjuna? I don't see anything else. I can see only the eye of the bird. Then you take a shot. And Arjuna took the shot, and the arrow hit the eye of the bird. Yeah, so now that is why Arjuna is one of the most successful archers in the world, right, according to Mahabharata. So the underlying message is focus. So let's focus on our targets, right? So never take your eyes off the target. That is going to be really very important to be successful in this world, whether it is a corporate world or this, so the world itself. All right. So with that, stay healthy, be happy. Thank you all so much for this wonderful audience. I would like to once again thank Dr. Raghavendra, principal, for this wonderful opportunity, Dr. Soumya ma'am, and Pooja Shetty ma'am for the wonderful introduction, and Vishnu Prasad from ICT Academy for having given this opportunity to interact, share some of my knowledge with the students of this great college, great institution. And also, yeah, thank you all students for your patient listening. Thanks. Be happy.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your virtual speech. Now it's time for discussion. If the participants have any doubts, it can be asked by unmuting your mic.
Okay, so good. Looks like there is no question. Then if you have any questions, you can also pass it on to me through Mr. Vishnu Prasad.
Let me thank Mr. Durai Babu Selvaraj for spending his gracious time with us, and I also extend my sincere thanks for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.